to get that chip, which is pursuant to the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 16th verse. That prophecy is going to be fulfilled.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful because the Most High set it up where we're the only ones that are into the chip, and all them other guys, General Yohana and Nathaniel 7 and Zabak and 14th Street Ice Ferry, and all those guys, they're teaching against the chip. And the main reason why they're teaching against the chip is because we're teaching about the chip.
Right.
So like anything that we go into, they want to counteract, what we're going into.
Right.
To despite their self.
Right.
So when that time comes and shit gets real out here, they're gonna bug the hell out.
That's right.
Because a lot of these guys are going through the motions, man. They go out there and they speak and they memorize certain scriptures, but they really don't know what's going on, man.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on.
That's right.
They don't know that this man's getting ready to go down. That the Most High gonna start, like we read last week, Habakkuk 2. Mm-hmm. If it tarry, wait for it. It shall not tarry. It shall surely come. So those guys are not in that mindset. In their mind, they're thinking 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road.
Yeah, like Nate.
Yeah, well, all of them.
You made that statement.
They don't know what the hell is going on.
Okay. Yeah. All right, go ahead, brother.
This is Numbers 23 and 19. The Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good?
Yeah, again, it's written, it's impossible for the Most High to lie. So all the prophecies in this book, sooner or later, they're going to be fulfilled. And we believe it's more sooner than later, all right? Now, we're going to go back to that article you had dealing with FEMA, because the brother got some good information in the article, and we're in that time now, all right? Martial law could be totally declared any day now, any month now, all right? So go ahead.
It says, move entire populations, arrest and detain citizens without a warrant, and hold them without trial. It can seize property, food supplies, transportation systems, and can suspend the Constitution. Now, there's more, but I just want to jump down to the main point.
Well, you mentioned food supplies. If I may, you mentioned food supplies. Well, that's your famine right there. Did not Yahweh Shai said that a sign of his coming shall be famines? Yeah. Well, that's your famine. And the word famine literally means hungry. All right?
Yeah, and they show you in the movie Contagion how when they quarantined off these cities, how the food supply stopped coming in because people run up in the grocery stores, and what they do, they go crazy. They start ripping stuff off the shelves. Well,
the average grocery store has, what, a 3-day food supply. They brought that out. So after 3 days, expect to see bare shelves. The shelves are totally bare, which means what? Famine, which means you niggas that love to have that big box of fried chicken, you ain't going to have that big box of fried chicken or that Captain Crunch. All right? You ain't going to have that. You're going to starve. All right? Go ahead.
Yeah, and then what they show you also is that the military comes in and they ration out food to the people. And they only give so much food out. And what they have is MREs mostly, which is meals ready to eat. That's what the MRE stands for. And basically,
as tasty as Captain Crunch.
No, it ain't as tasty as Captain Crunch. But what it is dehydrated food, that you rehydrate. Some of it, it comes in packages. Basically, it's a meal ready to eat. Some of it you rehydrate. Some of it you just open up and eat it like that. So, and it's in a waterproof bag. So what happened was once that runs out, they have no more supplies. What's the rest of the people going to do? They're going to go crazy. And they show you them jumping on the trucks trying to look for the food. There was no more food left.
Especially the nigger woman. I wonder what the nigger woman going to do, man. When that time comes, they can't eat their delicacies. They can't go to City Island no more and get them fantail shrimp and the crab leg, all the shit they like to eat. Or like Elder Gabar said, the Captain Crunch and all that shit. You can't eat the goodies that you like to eat. No, you're going to eat what they give you. You niggas, that's why it said y'all should howl. Y'all going to be catching some real hell, man.
Yeah, let me say, and in those days, you ain't going to be thinking about Polite and his bullshit. Yeah. You ain't going to be thinking about that black conscious madness. You're going to be thinking about where them guys at that used to tell us these days were coming. Where they at, man? We don't see them on the streets. You goddamn right. We ain't going to be on them streets in those days because total martial law is going to be implemented, man. That's why it is written, seek ye the Lord while he may be found, implying there's a time when he won't be found. Right?
Yeah, can I say something? I looked up executive orders, right? And I went to Obama. Now, the number here, they give you a list of his executive orders and you know, him being in office. This is number 13, or is it 13198? Now, listen to this. It says title description. Listen to this. And you're going to think about Nate. Establish agency responsibilities with respect to faith-based and community initiatives. So they're going to come after the Hebrew Israelites and black consciousness and all that, man.
Isn't it funny? Now, isn't it funny? Nate actually said the same thing. Faith-based Israelites. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that funny? Because he already been briefed, man. Being the detective that he was or is. I don't know if he still is a detective. But they've been briefed. All right? Hey, the average policeman, you ask them about, what do you think about martial law? They say martial law is coming. And you see how nervous they get. Yep. A lot of them don't want to talk because they're first of all, they're lesser luminaries. They're Masons, lesser Masons. The so-called cops. They're in the know, man. You know? All right. So
it says, continuing on, it says, the crux of the problem is that FEMA has the power to turn the United States into a police state in time of a real crisis or a manufactured crisis.
Around, they did that in Boston about last year when that so-called bomb, they engineered that shit by way of agent provocateurs, and they shut down Boston, man. When the 9/11 happened, they shut down New York City. New York, we remember New York City was a goddamn police state right after 9/11.
Well, you mentioned Boston. There's videos circulating where you had certain neighborhoods were being patrolled by armed individuals. They looked like they were ready for Afghanistan or Iran or something. Right?
That's funny you said that. There's an ex-army general who was trained in, he was out there in Fallujah and all that stuff, and he said his job was to train the so-called cops. The Iraqi police had set them up and trained them. He said when that Boston Marathon happened, he said, which a lot of people didn't notice, that the Boston cops and the state troopers there, they had on the same apparel that the Iraqi police that they gave them. All right? Right. The same thing. And he was speaking all on it. He said basically they're getting ready to roll on all of the civilians, and these people don't even realize
so it was really an invasion.
Right. And
it was an invasion.
It was an invasion. And that's why they train a lot of these foreign soldiers, so that way they could bring them over here to wreak havoc on these regular American citizens.
And the foreign soldiers, like the Gurkhas and the different groups that they go under, they're not going to hesitate in killing you niggas, man. They're gonna lay you low, man. They're gonna lay your ass out. All right, it's coming, man. All right, okay.
Yeah, the reason why that whole bombing thing in Boston, the Boston Marathon, when they went to look for the young guy that wasn't killed, they made it seem like in the news that the guy could be hiding out in the person's house and got a gun on the family, and they're scared. So the military is looking for the guy to help them. But what we found up happening or found out was that they were going up in there just in case any citizen was upholding this guy as a what do you call that? There's a term for it. Aiding and abetting, but there's another term for it. And they said, we don't know if any of you citizens are hiding this guy somewhere.
Oh, harboring
a fugitive. They wasn't harboring no fugitive, but that's why they did that. All right.
Right.
But anyway, let me read this again. Let me read this here. It says safeguards. It talks about the faith-based organizations, right? Mm-hmm. It says safeguards on faith-based organizations. It says faith-based organizations are eligible to participate in federally administered social service programs to the same degree as any other group, although certain restrictions on faith-based organizations, which is 501c3 and so forth, that accept government funding That's why those guys became a 501c3 participants, because they want to receive government funding. All right,
doing it for the money.
It says that except government funding have been created by the White House to protect separation of church and state. Now, if they're giving you money and shit, they're funding you, they're not going to say, look, fuck that separation between church and state. This is what you're going to have to do.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, if they're regulating you, then they have the power to